Party. Am I
I
supposed to
am.
say that? The only reason I'm saying it is because it was on Facebook, right?
No, you can say it. And I would like to say that a lot of people called me like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I believe in passing the torch, Cody. I don't believe that anyone should hold on to anything more than their useful life. And we've done some great work over there. Of course, Kyle Anderson was a great part of that. I had a heck of a team over there to actually get our bond rating raised 3 times by the rating agencies. We didn't go up on tolls. We didn't lay anyone off. And, you know, we do a pay as you go. We paid down a lot of debt. Cody, we did, and we're going to open Franklin Square. So I think that we did yeoman's work, and I thought it was a great time to pass the baton to someone else to learn a new business model because obviously tolls and revenues are down due to COVID, and I knew that I wasn't going to stay beyond the term of wolf. So I think it was only fair to give it to someone else to learn a new business model of how to proceed.
Hey, leave it on a high note. And that's what you're doing.
And Cody, also, I want to set an example for how people should be. I think that far too many people in Philadelphia hoard positions. Some people have 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 titles, when it may be more effective and efficient to give some of those up and give someone other people a chance,
That requires a person being unselfish, and I don't know how much of that exists anymore,
Well, I just want to show an example, Cody. And also it gives me a little more time to be with my family, quite frankly. It was a huge undertaking, and it was definitely Governor Wolf asked me to do it. And if he asks me to do anything, I'll do it because Governor Wolf is one of the finest human beings in public service that I've ever met. But Cody, I think that we will be very happy to see who's going to succeed me.
You don't have anything to do with that?
We will be very happy.
You sure you're not going into politics?
The only office I run for is business manager, labor district council, Cody, every 4 years.
Well, I heard we're looking for a mayor.
Listen, I think that's 3 years from now. I think that we'll be ready when that comes. So I do want to talk a little bit about politics today, and specifically how Washington, D.C. and the changes there, the Democrats taking control of the Senate, taking control of the presidency of the United States, and this impending infrastructure COVID relief package that I'm told, Cody, will be over $1 trillion. And the one must-have that I heard Congressman Clyburn ask for was Congressman Clyburn. For people who don't know, he's the congressman from South Carolina. He's the dean of the South Carolina Democrats. And when he endorsed Joe Biden, he turned his presidential ambitions around. So he told Joe that the one must-have, I must have my amendment in every procurement of federal spending. The Clyburn Amendment is simple. If a community has been in persistent poverty for more than 30 years, the minority percentage in those contracts goes from the normal 10% to anywhere from 20 to 30%, depending on how deep the poverty is. I think in Philadelphia, that number, Cody, will be 27% minority participation in every federal contract. It is an opportunity for African-American-led companies to get some wealth, to create wealth. So we want them to be ready. So we're thinking about starting a boot camp. I've already met with Della Clark of the Enterprise Center. She's helping people get ready for PPP loans, but they don't know that getting their paperwork, their books, their taxes are also ready so they can work in this federal procurement. So what Della is doing is yeoman's work. And I have not always agreed with some of the things but this program that they're doing at the Enterprise Center and helping people prepare for PPP loans is a must. If you have a black company called Della, they have lawyers and accountants that are working pro bono. So they will work with a business up to 2 hours per lawyer, 2 hours per accountant to get you straight. Now, if you need any more than 2 hours, then you may have to pay. But they even negotiated a reduced rate, Cody. It is real what they're doing. They're trying to help people prepare over 5,000 PPP applications. They were lauded in the Inquirer, in the Wall Street Journal, and she was even on MSNBC because no one in the country is doing this type of work to prepare black and brown businesses for this type of capital infusion.
Now, say PP is what?
Is the Paycheck Protection Loan.
Okay.
In the first round, I don't know if you remember, very few black companies got it because you have to bank with a major bank and you have to have a relationship, and they didn't have it. So this time it's going to come out more. So what the Enterprise Center is doing is getting banks, first of all, to bank with these businesses, getting lawyers from the top law firms in the city to help you prepare your paperwork. Some people don't even have the proper LLCs or the proper incorporation papers. So they're taking you from kindergarten to college. That's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I saw the list of the people who did benefit from it the first time, and it was a small list. It was kind of disappointing that so few.
Very disappointing. So now they're trying to change that list in Philadelphia alone, Cody, to 5,000 applications. And if you operate on the 1/3 get it, and 2/3 get turned down. So if you're talking about 1/3 of 5, you're talking about 1,500 businesses, black businesses getting access to capital, and then putting them into business to get access to contracts. And the accountants are even going to show them how to monetize contracts so they can get capital on anticipated revenue.
Well, that's a good thing, what she's doing over at Enterprise Center, because the concern has always been the administration of these programs, because it seemed like you used to get the career administrators who would do the same old thing and people would benefit from it. That's always been a concern. Most people are not going to walk away like you did from a position, to get fresh ideas and fresh blood in there, So that's been my concern all along, the administrators of those programs.
Well, Cody, what's happening is the administrators of these programs is now led by all these federal programs now are going to go through an equity lens. And James Clyburn positioned former Congressman Cedric Richmond from Louisiana. We met with him at our Labor District Council. We had the black construction leaders. So they understand about the unbanked. And quite frankly, Senator Booker out of New Jersey, Cory Booker, they put in CDFIs, so not only the banks can give out loans, some of these CDFIs, what we bank with, the black and brown people bank with, will have access to the loans too. So I think you'll see a much different loan package coming out of this Senate. That's why it was very important that we won those races in Georgia. So now you have a leader, Schumer, pushing it through the Senate as opposed to Mitch McConnell. So,
well, I really like what I'm seeing from President Biden so far, and I'm encouraged, and I'm glad that you mentioned Brother Clyburn, because like you, I agree that had it not been for him, Biden quite possibly would not be there.
No, it's not a quite possibility. That's a certainty he wouldn't have been there.
So I'm glad that he's got that kind of input, because I know where his head and heart is.
Yeah, his head and heart is there. Cedric Richmond's head and heart, and also the deputy policy director for all domestic policy on a deputy level is Erin Wilson, a young lady from Philadelphia who we're very close with. She used to be Senator Casey's chief of staff. She's now in the West Wing. So we have people with some influence, Cody, and now it's just time to change that influence into action so that we can get what we got for our people.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'm looking forward to it, See, that's a busy man. That's a man with 3 phones. He shut down one of them and the other 2 ring. Man, you better slow down, brother. You've done really great. You've lost all of that weight. You're in good shape. Now you don't need any more stress piled up on you.
Cody, I think that was another reason. I just wanted to spend more time with my family and be active for my family. But listen, I'm interested to hear what callers want to see the federal government do, what are their priorities? I mean, Joe Biden, I'm liking what he's saying already, because when he's talking about infrastructure, he's talking about school construction. He's one of the first people that put school construction in the infrastructure conversation, because he knows that schools in major metropolitan cities are really old, and they need money just to operate safely in a COVID environment, so these kids can go back to school.
Well, you get the impression that, some people thank the black community for their support. You get the impression that Biden means it and intends, but just from some of his early appointments already. I also see that he's changed the National Labor Relations Board and put another person in charge as chairman of that. So
yeah, we had to fire that guy. He was horrible, Cody.
Okay.
We asked him to go or fired him, and he fired him. Listen, I think that you practice what you preach, and he's been practicing. Listen, he has one early thing that I don't like. He canceled the Keystone Pipeline. That's a lot of labor's job, so I'm against that. I will say that.
Is that a done deal?
Yeah, that was a done deal. That wasn't good for the laborers. But listen, we will judge him on his whole body of work. Not one thing is disqualifying, but that was not a good thing for the laborers. So.
I see Canada didn't like it either, so they're suing. I think they're going to sue. Is it quite possible that it could be reinstated?
It's very possible, because they're suing in the international court. So the international court can rule that we have to go forward because of the permits and the contracts that are already signed. And Canada already started, making plans for that much needed energy. Mm-hmm. So, Cody, is it possible you can give out the call in?
Sure. The number is 215-634-8065 is the number in Philadelphia. The toll-free number is 1-866-361-0900. I do believe there's a call on. He wants to take a break, and then we'll go to the callers.
Okay. Nice.
All right, we'll be right back.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
We've got some big problems on the Schuylkill Expressway this afternoon. It's police department activity on the eastbound side between Conshohocken and the Conchie curve. Only one lane is getting by, kind of snaking through the incident there. And the delay goes all the way back to 202. Elsewhere, 76 westbound backs up through the construction zone, University to the Vine. We back up further westbound, City to Belmont, then again from Gladwin to Conshohocken. 95 southbound, it's a crash off to the side of the road at Cotman Avenue. That delay stretches back to Academy Road. Northbound side of 95 slows down Betsy Ross Bridge to Bridge Street. The Vine backs up the entire stretch on the westbound side. 95 to the Schuylkill. We've got delays now on the 42 freeway southbound, 130 out to Creek Road. Report brought to you by challengesweface.org. Something's wrong. We can feel it. Some news is too biased. Our social media too censored. Ever more extreme ideology is tearing us apart. What is fueling the division? Visit challengesweface.org to learn more. And for more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jason Lee with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Hey, WURD family. Our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious bread in our community for over 100 years, and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amoroso's, and they are hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days employment. Call 856-754-0355 or visit amorososbaking.com for details.
This wellness vignette is brought to you by Keystone First. WURD Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation as we continue to navigate the pandemic together.
Hi, this is Helana, your resident health and wellness coach, with tips to help you stay well. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of lifelong learning. So what exactly does that mean? Ideally, we continue to expand our worldview by not only teaching what we know, but also by being a student of life. When we allow ourselves to learn new things, we create synapses in our brain that keep them fresh and active. Lifelong learning can look like this. Number 1, read a new book or article every week on a topic you wouldn't normally choose. Number 2, have a conversation with someone from a different background. Number 3, watch a lecture or video online about a current hobby to dive deeper. We sometimes think lifelong learning means we have to go back to school in order to learn something new. Well, this simply isn't true. By staying open to learning new things every day, we can support our overall state of wellness. Go ahead and try. Stay well with WURD. Happy living.
Stay well with WURD. Connect with us at wordradio.com. This wellness vignette was brought to you by Keystone First. The WURD Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting wordradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio newsletter. WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at ForWord. WURD TV. Black Talk Media.
And we are back, and the number is 215-634-8065 or 1-866-361-0900. Ryan, you got a couple callers on. I think Sister Haraya is on first. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, sis, how you doing?
Oh, peace, Cody. Happy New Year, and peace to the panel there.
The brother Ryan Boyer, the business manager of Labor's District Council. Is his sound on? It's on his end. It's on your end, Ryan. Your sound's not on yet. You there?
I'm here.
I was trying to make sure Ryan was sound was up.
Yeah, because I wanted to specifically answer.
Could you hear me, Cody?
No, yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I'm on.
Okay. Go ahead, Sister Ryan.
Sister Raya.
Peace. The question you asked, what would you wanted to ask the audience? What would we like to see done? I'm speaking as an advocate for the at-home entrepreneur, the mom and pop entrepreneur, and what I would like. I was on the Zoom call, panel, not panel, but the Zoom call that Dwight Evans did this week with people from the SBA. And, you know, there was an African-American guy there that was a representative of the SBA. And when I explained the situation, like, he snapped back. So I'm going to share this. As an advocate for these mom-and-pop entrepreneurs, we don't need our African-American officials that are in these categories to look at us as if they don't know our culture. They didn't come up with a mother doing hair in the kitchen or selling dinners on the weekend or whatever. The group of businesses that I deal with in my expo, these are people, they may have started making jewelry at home, making a soap at home, or this, that, and the other. And the whole process of that manufacturing is so time-consuming. Now, they may not be savvy on keeping books and filing this paper and filing that paper. So what I'd like to see is the SBA carve out a path for these type of people, because these are the type of people that America was built on. Okay, John Warner making them standing out there with a cart and everything. But, you know, after a while, when they got to making so much money, they closed the door, and then all this paperwork was needed. So, and the purpose of the paperwork is to keep tabs and make sure you're not making too much money. That's really what it is.
Let's let him answer you, sis.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me finish the question then. The phrase in the question. The thing about it is that if this person can provide receipts where they've been shopping with a particular wholesaler to get the shipments from the UPS or whatever, to show that they have been in business, and there's an avenue, an allowance for them to file retroactive, maybe the tax forms or whatever. This is what I would like. Don't just look at these people as, oh, you're criminal and you didn't report this, you didn't report that, because the majority of the people from the culture that I'm talking about do mental calculations. Like when I was in that capacity and I was selling my flowers, I mentally calculated. I had 10 children. I knew darn well you had to make a hell of a lot of money to be able to have to pay taxes on 10 children, okay? So I mentally calculated all that. I didn't need a piece of paper or a form or this, that, and the other to tell me that. And so the one other thing, and now listen, because that's what I called for, black people have to be afraid of reporting, thinking that because they bought something for 50 cents and sold it for $10, that they're going to be charged. they have to understand what they mean by making money is making a profit over your expense, over the expense of paying yourself, getting your supplies, and this, that, and the other. And then you have income over and above that. And very few people are making that kind of money. They're basically making just enough money to pay their expenses. So that's basically what I wanted to say.
But if you're making only enough money to pay your expenses, if I'm a bank, why would I lend you money?
Okay, now wait a minute. Because potential.
If I'm a bank, no, I'm just saying.
I'm
We have to look at it from a practical business side. If I'm a bank, my job is to lend you money to get paid back with interest. So that's how we make money at a bank.
Right.
So if you hold on, listen, Sister Raya.
Hold on, Sister Raya.
I'll listen to you. And I'm not saying I believe this, but I'm just telling you the thought pattern is that we have laws in the United States, and you can't just say, well, just throw away the laws because it's our culture. Because, you where people start is one thing, but where they end up when they try. I mean, people are going to start on a hot dog stand. Listen, my father had a corner store, and I know that probably the books weren't right, but we knew when we tried to get right that we had to get the books right. So I think there's only going to be one standard, and what we could do is loosen them up, maybe send people to the Enterprise Center to help them get right. But to say that you're going to get a loan with just receipts and not have real books, that's not going to happen. And I don't want to lie to anyone or say that anybody, because there's no way to track that. And they got to have a tracking mechanism to make sure that the program is actually efficient and effective. Thank you, Sister Ryan.
I understand. That was my 2 cents. Thank you very much.
Take care, sis. You got Woody, Ryan. Hey, Woody.
That's my man from Woody's Barbershop.
That's Woody's Barbershop.
Hey,
my man. What's up, Woody?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Go ahead, Woody.
Listen, I'm not going to hold you guys too long, but we have a big issue as it relates to filling out applications and forms in Philadelphia because 25% of the people are illiterate. And they graduated these high schools with these diplomas as receipts for educational services not rendered properly. That, to me, becomes an unfair and unjust society. I look at it as systemic educational discrimination. That's how I look at it. When you have a school district with 574 schools, I think, and out of that 574 schools, they have about 98,000 children. And out of those 98,000 children, 21 to 24 of the schools are completely 0% in their reading proficiency. To me, this is a terrible thing, and nobody seems to look in that direction at all. I just want to know, training should start in areas where to teach people the proper reading. We got to notice the levels in which people are educated, and if we don't, we keep pointing a finger at them, and a lot of them are afraid and actually ashamed for people to know that they can't read, write, count, or spell properly, but yet they graduated high school. Where is that? How is that fair? It's not. I mean, nobody deals with that issue, but I think it comes from that 400 years of chattel slavery, and the descendants of that were not allowed to read prior to. So it's now become almost a custom, in many cases, for the rich to keep the rich rich and the poor poor. And I'm just asking, how do you fix it?
I am not an educator, but I know that my ex-wife used to be a teacher and my current wife used to be a teacher. And I will say this, they both said the same thing. From 0 to 3rd grade, you learn to read. And from 3rd grade for the rest of your life, you read to learn. So we have to fix that problem with illiteracy in Philadelphia. Is no problem. There's no question. I don't think that the school system is the only avenue to do that. We have to have private philanthropy come in. We have to teach it at the libraries because a vast amount of the people that are illiterate, as you aptly put, are out of school. They're adult age learners. So what are we going to do to make them learn? Because if they're illiterate, it's kind of hard for them to teach literacy skills to their children.
Yeah,
so
but in the schools
while
now,
we have to fix the schools, we have to fix the whole ecosystem around education. So we have to think of education as a model of from birth to death, and how do we educate people in all parts in the middle of that journey. But yeah, the school system right now, we shouldn't be graduating people that cannot read, right? So so the illiteracy rate is a problem, and it is.
That's the one point I wanted to make, and you're exactly right. When we understand that and keep that in our minds, that becomes systemic educational discrimination. That is a crime.
What?
I don't know how you fix it, though.
Say that again?
I don't know how you fix it. I mean, you asked the question.
No, well,
I agree with the crime.
I'm saying if
how you fix it,
we have to identify it first. That's all. That's all I'm saying. And I think if I run Cody Anderson for mayor, our problems would disappear.
I agree with that. I agree with that, Woody.
Okay?
Thanks, Wood. I think next we have Henby from West Virginia.
Yes, good day to you both, gentlemen. Thanks so much for taking my call. I just have a question. COVID-19 kind of caught everybody off guard, and when it comes to labor, what is the lesson that we learned? What are we doing to prepare moving forward? What are some of the things that we think can be implemented in the future to prepare for the next pandemic? Because if you look at all the schools around the country, nobody had a plan on the shelf because of a pandemic. So just want to know, what's the lesson that we learned from COVID, and what we're going to prepare moving forward?
I think that when you get a pandemic, a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic like this, we didn't have enough knowledge to prepare for this pandemic. I think that they've learned a lot along the way, what socially distance could do, what the mask could do. They didn't even know about the virus. So I think there are some things in life that you're not going to be prepared for. But the one thing I would say is that we learned that we could do distance learning, we could do digital learning, and I think the future is going to be in technology. And the biggest divide, going back to Woody's point, is the divide between the haves and the have-not in the digital sphere.
Okay, excellent. Thanks so much for taking my call.
Hey, thanks for your call. Okay, Ryan, you've got Tony on the line.
Come on, Tony, come on.
It's Tony State.
I know who it was. Hey, Tony.
I wasn't going to say your last name.
No, I appreciate it. I'm listening. It's a great show as always, Mr. Boyer. But listen, I wanted to touch on what he said and your thoughts when you talk about when he mentioned literacy for our young. When you look at how they throw the, free pre-K for everyone, right? And they throw it out there and everybody's happy to get it, but you're only offering, the kids 4 walls, a meal, and a snack. There should be some type of academic educational structure attached to it, whether it's phonics, whatever it is, because they give us these little incentives. Hey, it's free pre-K, and we know you need help, and that's great, and we do. But what do you think about attaching an actual structured curriculum to it for the kids that are pre-K ages to just help them, because it does start at a young age?
Well, it does, and I think that you Tony, that it starts, and they're trying to put a handle on that by making sure that the people that get the pre-K dollars are have a certain co-stars, that they're quality daycare, that they teach early learning, teach phonics. Before you get to kindergarten, you should know letter recognition. You should know sounds of letters, because I can't teach you how to read if you don't know what a K looks like, right? So just letter recognition. And this may sound crazy, Tony, but the advent of cable television has hurt literacy, because before, when you only had 4 channels, so nothing else was appropriate for little kids on but Sesame Street. And it was a learning tool. Now kids are on devices with no learning. So we have to also bring that back, multimedia learning. So when you are watching the screen or the computer, that you're doing something that can actually educate you. So you have to start young. All my children were reading after kindergarten. I mean, not reading like they read now, but they could read sight words, and they could because you have to, and it also, Tony, quite frankly, it starts in the house.
Of course.
Schools are not the only place where you can learn. It's like sometimes we got to get over ourselves and get out of our busy days and put them flashcards down, them K's. What is this? Your nose, your mouth. The same thing you did with your two lovely daughters, Tony. So we have to take some of that onus on us as well.
Exactly. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to allow you to be great with Cody.
So we're glad you're listening.
We're glad you're listening.
Yes.
Co-host.
Okay. We got George from Center City.
And how you doing, Cody?
Good.
Hey.
Ryan.
That's my man,
Ryan.
George. What's going on, George?
Listen, I wasn't even gonna call, but I don't know why Woody puts everybody on the spot with education. That's not your lane, nor your business, or anything else. And I'm saying it like this here. He has no idea how many people just last year that the builder's trades and you educate. I mean, it's called adult basic education, teaching them from a 6th grade level to a 12th grade level so they can be prepared for a test. And usually the builder's trades don't even talk about stuff like this here. But it was over 11,000 people who could not even pass a basic test. Now they're working for the trade. So if the school system can't do it, that's on them. That's not the builder's trades nor your lane or your fault. It's not your job to make sure that
I agree.
parents...
Listen, we take them where they are. And it's even worse than that, George. You know for a fact, because you're in that space, that the University of Pennsylvania's program, we asked for the top 50 CTE students coming out of the Philadelphia public school system. Out of those 50 students, 37 of them couldn't pass the 6th grade test. And this was their best.
This is something that...
So we get them where they are, and that's why I talk about adult basic education, and also at home. I think that we have to be real, we got to be honest about, we have to make educational excellence a priority at home too. By the time they get to school, if you don't have any education in your house and we drop you off at school at kindergarten, now we expect that teacher to work magic in 5 years I don't know
Ryan,
anything.
Let me say this here. The problem becomes is that everybody want to blame the next one, and instead of people getting the blame off them, they want to accept it. It's not the builder's trade's responsibility to teach you anything or have an obligation to teach you. It's something that they choose to do voluntarily, because you can't read, write, or understand, can't read a ruler, don't know 1/16, 1/8, you don't know anything about that, but they teach you. And when they get you, you almost, the best students that the builder's trades ever got was the Randolph Skill Center. Those kids come out of there who want jobs to become skilled tradesmen. They don't be interns. They become a tradesman. I mean, so they
George, we had a conversation pre-COVID, pre a lot of stuff with Dr. Haidt about making a building trades high school so that we can recreate. I know I graduated from Randolph Skills Center. I went to Roxborough High School 1 week, and I went to Randolph Skills Center 1 week to learn electrical engineering. And I always like to tease John Doherty, say I'm probably a better electrician than him. But we learned a lot. So it was a practical skill that could take you to make you a productive citizen every day of your life. So we need to bring those things back.
But the thing is, Ryan, also what is great is that it's 1,800 African Americans who, when you see those solar panels and all that, that's young African Americans. Most of them are from the Randolph Skills Center. So when people be talking about the builder's trades is mostly white, that's people who don't know what they're talking about. People who live in the suburbs, that's people who don't know what they're talking about. Those young men the youngest one is 18, the oldest one is 31. And you have about maybe 10 white, you have about maybe 6 or 7, and you got about maybe 150 Indians. But the rest of them are young African Americans that keep their mouths shut, don't tell nobody where they work, what union they belong to, because they don't want somebody to mess up. When you see those solar panels in Center City and on them high-rise buildings, Who you think put them in? Young African Americans. You know what they did? They went to school and learned how to read, write, and understand and measurement. That's all they
George,
have to do.
what happens,
That's
George,
what they
is
chose to
upward
do.
mobility ain't gonna stop nobody. Like I was a tradesman in the field for many years. I have plenty of tradesmen friends, and I will say that less than 2% live in Philadelphia anymore because of the schools. So we're not going to keep people that have upward mobility and have the ability to buy a house in a good school district. We're not going to keep them there. So I always thought that was a canard, because there's plenty of African Americans, as you said, doing their thing in the building trades, and they're just quietly working every day and making this a great place. I agree with you, George. We get a bad rap. Even on our paperwork, when we went to city council, our percentage was 37%. And I asked everybody that beat the building trades up, what is the architecture? What is the contracting for the city? Not close to 40%. Thank you, George.
All right, we got to go. But let me just say about Woody. Woody doesn't necessarily expect Ryan to have the answer about education. Woody wants to keep that conversation going because education is important to all of us, and he's going to keep it going no matter who it is. He was giving Ryan the respect as the host of the program to get his opinion. You know, it's not just he's not the only one with the answer. I just wanted to make that point that out, George. Ryan, we got to take a break. We'll come right back. You got more callers on the other side.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
We've got some big problems on the Schuylkill Expressway this afternoon. It's police department activity on the eastbound side between Conshohocken and the Conchi curve. Only one lane is getting by, kind of snaking through the incident there, and the delay goes all the way back to 202. Elsewhere, 76 westbound backs up through the construction zone, University to the Vine. We back up further westbound, City to Belmont, then again from Gladwin to Conshohocken. 95 southbound, it's a crash off to the side of the road at Cotman Avenue. That delay stretches back to Academy Road. Northbound side of 95 slows down Betsy Ross Bridge to Bridge Street. The Vine backs up the entire stretch on the westbound side. 95 to the Schuylkill. We've got delays now on the 42 freeway southbound, 130 out to Creek Road. Report brought to you by challengesweface.org. Something's wrong. We can feel it. Some news is too biased. Our social media too censored. Ever more extreme ideology is tearing us apart. What is fueling the division? Visit challengesweface.org to learn more. And for more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jason Lee with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Did you know you can use LIHEAP to pay your PICO bill? Last year, PICO customers received almost $17 million in free LIHEAP support. This year, take advantage. This deal is first come, first served. Apply now. Call 800-34-HELP-4.
WURD presents the hashtag Black Words Book Club. Tune in every second Tuesday of the month in 2021, starting on Tuesday, January 12 on Evening Words with me, Nick Taliaferro.
WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at ForWord. WURD TV. Black Talk Media.
And we are back. And Ryan, you have Regina from Carlisle, Pennsylvania on the line.
Regina from Carlisle, PA. You calling all from Carlisle. What's going on, Regina?
I'm Philly though, but I'm calling from Carlisle. I had something to add from what I was listening to. I'm not sure. I missed about 20 minutes of the conversation, but I heard the education part. I had something to say about that as far as the parent and the child interaction in the home. We have a barrier now. It's called the internet. Our children, for the most part, they see the back of our phones or our foreheads when we're looking at our phones or our computers, and that is a very, very big disconnect. Even if the parents in the home are able to educate the children properly or even have the energy to do so, it's very hard to do that now, especially on quarantine. So I wanted to add that because that is something that I know is happening for most homes now in our community.
So you think that the parents should have a disconnect night? I saw something on TV where a family, I think every Friday night when everyone gets home, they put their phone in a box, and they have 4 hours of just family time where they all disconnected from any device and they play board games, cards, they talk, and they do that once a week for 4 hours. Do you think that's a good idea?
I think that's an excellent idea but the fact that we have to make a schedule now to be with our own family and to be with our own children in our own home away from electronics is a problem. Like I think that's a really, really big issue because parents are not understanding that that the children are now becoming distant and they're ignoring you, because now they're watching their show. So I think that is an issue with you can't educate your children. You can't teach them if you're not even paying them any attention. If the teacher is a laptop or a phone or a tablet, that's not coming from within the home. And there's no, it's also damaging the structure. So that's what I wanted to add from what I
Gina
heard.
says, shut it down.
Shut it down. So
I mean myself as well.
And turn yours off too, right?
Yes, because I have a toddler, and sometimes she's like, "Mommy, can you put your phone down?" And I'm like, "Really?"
That's right.
No, we have to be present. I think, Regina, what we have to do is be present in the moment. And it's like, you go places now, people are so intent on taking pictures with each other that they don't even enjoy the moment. They don't enjoy the dinner. There's nothing to go out to dinner and see a couple and they're both on their phones at dinner.
Right. Yeah. I think we all do it. I think we do it so much. It's so normal now, but it's really abnormal. And we're teaching this to our children, especially the little ones that are coming up in this social media age, TikTok and all those other kind of things. Those things are for entertainment. It's not for education or bonding or anything that helps the family structure. So that's what I wanted to add.
The next time you come on and start listening at 4 o'clock.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw the notification at 4
It's 4 o'clock every Friday.
All right.
All right. Well, you got a new fan.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Ryan, you've got Frank on the line.
Come on, Frank. I think Frank, you're our last caller, so you got a lot of pressure on you, Frank.
I know. I'm gonna rush it.
Don't rush. Go ahead, Frank.
Cody, how you doing?
Good, Frank. It's good to hear from you.
Well, I'm still. I'm getting better. But thank you very much. I love your two kids, man. They're doing a phenomenal job. And I just want to say two quick things. Ryan Boyer, Cody Anderson, Sam Staten Sr., and Sam Staten Jr., you guys are class acts. And women. And Sabir, who went to Cheney. I went to Cheney a few years before him, but they class act individuals, all of you. But Ryan.
Yes.
I've always said there's two things. Just Du Bois and Booker T. Washington. Everyone does not need to go to college. Everybody doesn't want to go to college, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime, Ryan, and in your union, thank God for we had them in Philadelphia.
Frank, it is befitting that you brought those two intellectual giants up, and they took two different approaches, and now we act as if we have to pick between one or two. So you had Du Bois on the one side, highly intellectual, everyone should be educated, and you had Booker T. Washington, who was more practical, said, look, this world needs to be built, and we should be the artisans and the laborers and the electricians and all that. And if you look at just the black community in 75 years ago, most of the construction was done by African Americans. Now we've gotten away from it. We've gotten to this preparatory college at all costs, and you're not successful unless you go to college. And now we've lost the general skills of carpentry, of electrician, of plumbing, of automotive technician. And these guys, in most cases, I have friends that went to the university, and I have friends in the building trades. And I will tell you that most likely the friends in the building trades are doing a lot better. First of all, they don't have $100,000 in student debt. And so I think that whatever lane you want to go, you should have it. But we need to avail our children of the opportunity, Cody. That's why we're going to build, we have built, and we will open in February the Sam Staton Junior Training School right on North Broad Street. And Cody, when you see that, you think
I ride past that every day. I can't wait. Frank, you and I going to meet there.
Let's meet there. Listen, Cody, if you think our Exton facility is great,
I do.
This is stunning. It is truly, truly amazing. I saw Tony Staton had a live where they were looking at the pergola on the deck that we had. Listen, Cody, I am so proud of this. And the most proud I am is that our members allow a portion of this building to be used to train the community, Cody.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember Temple used to have a pass app?
Yep, I remember that program.
Back, Cody. We're going to bring some of those classes back for the community. So we're trying to train the community to be ready for tomorrow. Building, listen, you can't offshore building, right? You can't take that to a foreign country. You got to do that here, right? So we're trying to train people for the jobs that are going to be here, technology, building, all this stuff. So I am proud, and I'm super proud that it's named after Sam Staton Jr., who gave his life to try. I mean, listen, this guy's life's work has been helping people that need a second chance, Cody.
I know.
So we are just a part of this legacy from Sam Sr., Nate Sabir, James Harper, Benny Irvin. I mean, we had people that died for us to be here, and I'm so proud that we did this. And we had a lot of naysayers at the beginning that we were just mouthpiece for Temple. We was never going to build a school. You remember those talks, right, Cody?
Yep.
Well, listen, when we open it up and we have our grand opening,
I can't wait.
They will be quickly shut up. And the only funding we got from a governmental agency was a little help from a capital assistance grant of $5 million, but that is a total $37 million project. So $32 million came out of the generous donations of members of Labor's District Council, and I'm very proud.
I can't wait to see the inside. I ride past that building every day. I can't wait for it to be completed. And it's ahead of schedule, isn't it?
Was ahead of schedule. It's really complete now, Cody. We're just furnishing it and doing all the punch list stuff. Cody, it is phenomenal. It's just, we're going to, listen, we can teach everything there. We have technological capacity that rivals any university, including the University of Pennsylvania.
I can't wait. I'm very proud of that, too. Time to get up out of here.
Well, thank you, Cody. Thank you for everything. Thank you, listeners. And you have a pleasant and safe weekend.
Take care, Ryan.
Stay COVID free.
Okay.